Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep this time into something pretty fascinating. We've got the planned memoir of Otmar Lindner.
Oh, yeah, a retired Austrian military officer.
Right, he spent a lifetime in peacekeeping missions
Yeah.
all over the world, so we get to explore a life full of adventure and purpose.
And insights into a world that, well, most of us only see on the news, really.
Exactly. And what's really striking is that his path to becoming a peacekeeper, it wasn't like a straight line, you know?
Not at all. His story really starts way before any military service.
With his childhood.
Yeah, a childhood that shaped him,
Yeah.
made him resilient, and gave him like a unique outlook on life.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. He starts his memoir with a story about falling asleep next to a bottle of Most
At age 3.
at age 3. Little taste of Austrian culture there, right from the get-go. But seriously, it's like this perfect example of how something seemingly insignificant
Yeah,
can shape the twists and turns that life throws at us later on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
His childhood is just full of these moments.
Yeah.
Building a house with his dad,
Yeah.
exploring the woods.
Falling through ice on the way to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And all those experiences, I think, they instilled in him a sense of adventure
Yeah.
and a real capacity to just adapt to the unexpected, to
Mm.
roll with the punches.
Definitely. And then, there's that story with the army jacket. His mom buys him one, has captain on it,
Yeah.
and it sparks his father's suggestion of, hey, maybe a military career.
It's amazing, isn't it, how those small details can plant a seed and it grows into something so much bigger.
It is. It's a reminder that inspiration, it can come from anywhere,
Yeah.
the most unexpected sources. But Otmar's path, it wasn't straightforward, as I
Yeah.
said.
He follows the traditional military route at first, military-focused high school, the whole 9 yards.
And then he makes this decision that, well, it shows his independent spirit.
Mm.
He rejects the academy.
What?
Yeah. He gets into a disagreement with a corporal, falsely accused of some minor thing, and he's just like, nope, I'm out. I wonder if that planted a seed of disillusionment with rigid structures.
It foreshadows his later choices for sure, this desire to forge his own path.
Yeah, yeah. And so we come to this fascinating period in Otmar's life, his search for purpose, tries his hand at medicine, but quickly realizes it's not his true calling.
He describes becoming disillusioned with the whole system, too focused on, I don't know, profits over people. I feel like that's relatable. I'm sure some listeners have felt that disconnect.
Oh, yeah. When the ideals of your chosen profession just clash with reality.
Mm.
And it's a turning point for him, leads him to question what a meaningful life looks like for him.
So what does he do?
Moves to Zurich,
Hmm.
becomes a waiter, dives headfirst into spiritual exploration.
Wow, talk about a pivot. Meditation, self-discovery practices, the whole thing.
That's like sometimes stepping away from what we think we should be doing can open these doors. And it's during this time he has these profound spiritual experiences, feeling enveloped in light and love, even traveling back to the origins of the universe.
I can imagine that's hard to grasp if you haven't experienced it. But the impact is clear, right? It changed him, made him question the nature of reality itself, his place within it all.
Profoundly shifted his worldview, a sense of interconnectedness and expanded consciousness.
And it's from this new perspective that he feels this pull towards service, contributing to something much, much larger than himself.
Which brings us to him answering the call to peacekeeping. Joining the Austrian UN contingent in Cyprus, 1986, his journey into a world of conflict and, well, the pursuit of peace.
But hold on, before we get to Cyprus, let's make sure we're all on the same page. Could you give us a quick rundown? The Cyprus conflict, UNFICYP, all that.
Of course. So the conflict there, it's complex, deeply rooted in tensions between Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots.
Yeah.
Things escalated in the 60s, led to a Turkish invasion in 74, and basically divided the island.
So that's where UNFICYP comes in.
Exactly. The UN peacekeeping force in Cyprus, they were established to maintain the peace, to monitor this buffer zone between the two sides, and to prevent more violence.
Right.
Crucial for keeping things from, boiling over.
So Otmar's stepping into a volatile situation, but even with the training, the new environment, his sense of humor comes through.
Oh, totally. He talks about struggling with the English test.
Relatable.
Right, for anyone who's had to learn a new language under pressure.
Makes him human. Even seasoned officers have those moments.
And he arrives at Camp Duke Leopold in Cyprus. It's like its own world. Cultural clashes, traditions, the camaraderie that comes from peacekeeping.
He calls it a summer camp for adults.
I love that. And he gets a nickname, Tico, after the little lizards all over the island.
So even in serious situations, there's room for lightheartedness, for a community.
Absolutely. He's found his way to this incredible setting.
But how does it feel to be a peacekeeper there? What's it like day to day? What are the
And
challenges?
that's exactly what we'll explore as we continue Otmar's story.
Stay tuned as we uncover the complexities and the unexpected moments of life on the front lines of peace.
So we left off with Otmar, kind of finding his place in Cyprus,
Hmm.
navigating that unique world of Camp Duke Leopold. But this first mission, it's just the start of his peacekeeping journey, really.
His deployment ends, and like many who serve, he faces a choice. Go back to a normal, predictable life, or keep going on this path, full of uncertainty, risk.
For a lot of people, stability would be tempting. But Otmar, he seems different, almost like he thrives on challenges, new experiences.
Exactly, and that's what pulls him back in. He meets this personnel officer who encourages him to apply for another mission and dangles this possibility, like, if you prove yourself, you could get regular deployments, almost like fate stepped in.
Wow, yeah. So he's back in Austria, signs up for a second tour in Cyprus. But it's different this time. Different role, different setting.
This time he's stationed at UNFICYP headquarters.
In Nicosia, the divided capital. Yeah. A big change from Famagusta. Before it was more operational, focused on the buffer zone. Now it's strategic, at the heart of the peacekeeping operation.
It shows a deeper commitment, I think, wanting to understand the Cyprus conflict, and the UN's role in keeping the peace.
Totally. So this new role, senior duty officer at HQ, comes with new responsibilities. Must require a whole different skill set, going from on-the-ground action to a strategic mindset.
Definitely. What's he doing? Coordinating units, analyzing information.
All of that. And navigating the politics. It's subtle, but it's there. Diplomacy, big picture thinking, that's what it takes.
But he's still experiencing life on this divided island, right? Exploring the culture. He even reconnects with Suzanne, the German tour guide. She'd gone back to Germany after they first met.
Their relationship, it's interesting, blossoming against this backdrop of division. It says something about the human spirit, our ability to connect, to love, even in tough situations. Reminds us that peacekeepers have lives too, hopes, dreams, outside of their missions.
This second mission, it becomes a turning point. It deepens his commitment to peacekeeping and really sets the stage for this remarkable career. Decades, continents. His list of deployments, it's like a map of conflict zones. Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Kuwait, Iraq, Cambodia, Tajikistan, Georgia, Kosovo. It's just going on.
It's like he's drawn to those places, compelled to bring his skills, his experience, to create stability, peace, in the most troubled areas on Earth.
And it's not just one type of mission either. Duty officer, patrol leader, company commander, staff officer, military observer, intelligence officer. He was even chief of psychological operations. What even is that? It sounds intense.
It's a very specialized role, understanding the psychological factors in conflict, and developing strategies to influence perceptions, behaviors, like disseminating information, countering propaganda, building trust with the locals. It's delicate, Peace isn't just about physical security. It's about, hearts and minds too.
That's fascinating. So this variety of roles, it shows how versatile he is, adapting, embracing challenges, and that deep commitment to the core of peacekeeping. But these deployments, it couldn't have been easy. Danger, cultural clashes, seeing conflict firsthand.
Oh, he doesn't hide the tough parts.
Yeah.
He talks about the constant threat of violence, bureaucracy, the heartbreak of seeing communities torn apart. But his resilience is remarkable. Every experience seems to give him a renewed purpose, a deeper understanding of what it means to be human.
And he still finds humor in the most unexpected places. Stories about language barriers, crazy logistical stuff, moments of friendship amidst the chaos. Finding light in the darkness, that's admirable. Real strength of character.
Right. Humor is a coping mechanism, a way to keep things in perspective and connect with others. This mix of seriousness and humor, that unwavering commitment, his vulnerabilities, that's what makes his story so compelling, I think. Reminds us that even people dedicated to extraordinary things, they're still human. We all face the same challenges, the same emotions.
And all these experiences, they've given him this profound understanding of both the complexity of conflict and the hope for peace.
His story is a testament to resilience, to adaptability,
Yeah.
and that belief that a better world is possible.
So we've seen his journey, from that childhood full of adventure to dedicating his life to peace in the toughest places. What insights can we gain as he gets to the later stages of his career? What happens next, after the front lines?
And that's what we'll explore as we get to the final chapter of Otmar's story. What lessons has he learned? What legacy does he want to leave behind?
We've been on this journey with Otmar, from Cyprus To all those deployments, it's incredible. So many challenges, but always that dedication to something bigger.
His experiences, you can tell they've shaped him, inside and out.
And he doesn't shy away from the tough stuff either. He talks about his time in Tajikistan when he was taken hostage.
Oh, wow.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it? The risks that peacekeepers face. Even when there's a peace agreement, it's not always peaceful.
And yet, he came through it. His spirit, it's intact. Doesn't dwell on the trauma. He focuses on what he learned. Staying vigilant, even when things seem okay.
But it's not all about physical danger. He talks about burnout, too, towards the end of his career. I mean, it makes sense, right? That kind of work, it takes its toll.
It shows that self-care is important for everyone, even for people who seem invincible. Knowing your limits, asking for help, that's not weakness. It's wise.
And then he retires from active peacekeeping. But he doesn't stop there. He goes on to work with the OSCE.
And Ukraine.
Yeah, observing the conflict. Using his experience to try and de-escalate things, it makes you think. What keeps someone going like that after all he's seen, done?
I think it's a few things, maybe. A sense of duty, a belief in human connection, and maybe even a little bit of that adventurous spirit from when he was a kid. The challenge, the chance to make a difference, even a small one, in a world that can feel pretty chaotic.
That's what I take away from his story. A life well lived is about service, using your own unique talents, experiences, to make the world a little better. It doesn't have to be huge things.
Right. Volunteering. Speaking up for people who need it, even just listening to someone who's having a tough time.
Otmar reminds us that those acts of kindness, they matter more than we think. They make a difference.
It's about that shared humanity, bridging the gaps, working together for a world that's more just, more peaceful.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Otmar's life, let's take a moment. What gives you that sense and purpose? What do you bring to the table? How can you, in your own way, help build a world where peace isn't just a dream? It's something to think about as we go on our own journeys, inspired by those who dedicate their lives to making things better.